Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeffrey St Laurent, and this is the Tuesday Live Show. Welcome to 2020. This is the first show of the new year. For those of you tuning in live, for those of you that can't make it live, I do record all of these live shows, and I put them on my website, sellingcoaching.com, under the university. Check out the awesome resources that I have there. I help coaches transition to a full-time business, and if you want to start off right on the homepage at sellingcoaching.com, you can enter your name and email, and that's going to get you a great audio resource called Launching Your Coaching Business, the First 3 Vital Steps. So you can get instant access to that. That's also going to put you into my email community. That's going to allow you to be able to get some great information from me on a weekly basis, but also get a really good understanding of how I communicate with my audience, which is a vital thing that's important that you are able to do with yours moving forward, whether you're just starting off or been doing this for a while. So as people are tuning into the live show, it's great seeing people. And I've got a great topic today. Well, I like to think I always have great topics, but today's topic is the New Year mindset needed to create real results. Now, obviously, it is a new year, and I find it interesting that when we have a new year, that we obviously have people doing New Year's resolutions, and they're setting goals, and they're creating these vision, and they're doing vision boards and stuff like that. All stuff that us coaches, we do, right? We do it at workshops, we do it in seminars. And so I'm not going to knock those things because they're very valuable, right? Goal setting and so forth and so on, et cetera, right? But what I am going to say is, like I say, like all that stuff's cute and all. However, the reality is we've got the mass of the population that has had, let's just say, a 30-year habit of creating their existing results. And let's just say if they're creating, New Year's resolutions and new goals and things like that, let's just say the results they have are, or some of those results are undesirable results, right? They're results that they're not happy with, right? They want to make some changes, whether it's business, relationship, career related, health related, et cetera, right? So now all of a sudden we go from December 31st to January 1st, right? And all of a sudden everything's going to change, right? And now, while they're not necessarily saying that, essentially that's what they're saying, is by setting these New Year's resolutions, and now I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to go 7 days a week, right? And I haven't gone ever in my life, or, you know what I mean? Or I'm going to now turn this around and I'm going to, turn a 30-year habit around, and I'm going to suddenly make a change, right? Now, not everyone fails at their New Year's resolutions and their goals. However, at the end of the day, I like to say my made-up statistic is that, 95% plus of those people that set all these things up, in the first weeks of the year, this new year, either fail or have given up on them. And whatever that means, they're not pursuing them anymore, or they're yo-yoing and they're kind of pursuing them, and then they fall off and then they come back on. And then next thing you know, by the middle of the year, it's just like, business as usual, right? And so all of you listening to this who are coaches, who are in the standpoint of now it's a new year, because obviously, yes, it's a new calendar year and it's a great opportunity to, set the clock fresh. But the reality is, January 1st is no different than June 1st or, April 29th or July 7th. It's just another day, right? It's just another day. So you don't need a new year to start a new fresh start to anything. The second the sun gets up in your eyes, you're gracious enough to open your eyes and you're alive, you have an opportunity to create something new. And so that's one of the first things, or the mindset I'm speaking about today in terms of creating real results is the standpoint that I've realized is that it doesn't need, it's the start of the month, or I'm going to start my diet on Monday. It's always on Monday. It's always on the first of the year. It's always, now is the only time that we have. It's now o'clock. So the mindset we need to start thinking about as an entrepreneur is it's now o'clock. Like, now is always the right time. People are always waiting for their metaphorical ducks to be in a row, for the stars to align, in order for me to start or do something, when it's like, no, that's not how entrepreneurship works. Entrepreneurship works in the now, in the present, not in the past, not in the future. It's now. So when you start acting like it's now, And now is the best opportunity to start something is this second, not when I wake up tomorrow or the next day. That's the first philosophy or mindset that I want to give you. That's going to help you start to create real results, because you realize that your results are a combination or accumulation of consistent decisions around habits and or actions that will lead you to what you want. So in other words, the results I have today in any area of my life are there because of a culmination of consistent decisions, therefore actions I've created as a result of those decisions over a period of time. Therefore, I get a result. So if I'm 20 pounds heavier than I want to be, well, that's not just like crap luck, if you call it that, right? Or it's just like, those are bad decisions, right? If you haven't moved forward with your business, if you have no clients right now, right? Well, if you're just starting off, it's not a series of bad decisions, right? It's just, and I'm not going to label the decisions or judge them. It's just a series of decisions, right? So, but if you've been doing your business for any amount of time and you haven't created the results that you want to create, you've got to look at the consistent decisions you've created over the course of time, and that's culminates to your current result. Even if you feel like, well, yeah, but Jeff, I feel like I've been doing the right things and I'm still not getting the clients. I'm still not getting the result that I want. Okay, well, we've got to look at those actions that have stemmed from those decisions, and we've got to start understanding, are you doing the right things? Even my mentoring clients, some of my mentoring clients, when I work with them and I kind of outline a path or outline a structure for them, and they know what to do, how they do them and how they execute them, they might need some refinement, right? And some experience that I kind of help, and we got to kind of play with it a little bit and refine it as we go along. Just because we laid something out doesn't mean it's going to work out flawlessly. You greatly increase your odds of getting results when you've laid something out and you have a structure, especially like when you work with someone like myself as a mentor coach, right? I can help lay things out for you and I'll take a lot of the learning curve away, but there's still going to be the trial and error because you're executing it, right? It's just like a professional athlete, or a coach showing you how to, do a tennis serve or swing a baseball bat, and it's like, okay, you can logically understand the mechanics of it, but then when you pick up the racket or the bat, and you start doing it, it's not going to look like the professional looks because they've been doing it for years, right? But they can take a lot of the learning curve out of it, choke up on the bat a little bit, or, use your hips more. They can coach you on some of the mechanics that you might never figure out on your own, right? But at the end of the day, we've got to start working through that piece. So now moving forward, we want to create real results this year, right? And I'm not saying don't create your visions and don't create your goals and stuff like that, but I'm actually a big advocate of, and this is the other mindset I have, is that a lot of people set goals, all right? A lot of people set goals for the new year. And I'm actually, believe it or not a goal setting advocate, right? So in other words, I actually used to do goal setting workshops 15 years ago when I started off and things like that, SMART goals, things like that. But I actually don't do them for myself, and I don't recommend people do them. And there's a reason for it and maybe it's my version of this, is because a lot of coaches in business, they'll set result-based goals. Like and I see it in my group, I see it in people in my Facebook group, and some of my clients will come back to me and like, oh, I'm going to earn $100,000 this year. Or I'm going to get, 5 new clients every month, right? Those are what I would term result-based goals. That's what people typically create goals around. And while that can work for some people, if you're going to create any types of goals, I would have you create activity-based goals, meaning what are the activities that will then ideally produce a result that you want, like a 6-figure income or any income for that matter, or clients, or you fill in the blank, right? Having a book, like I'm going to write a book this year. Okay, great. Well, we've got to look at the activities. Let's set goals. If you're going to set any goals, set goals and strategies around the activities that you're going to do that are going to get you in front of people that are ultimately going to get you the complimentary sessions and get you the clients, right? Because at the end of every day, at the end of every week, what can we track? Well, you can track and say, well, I got no clients today. I got no clients this month. I got no clients this next month. Well, that's not very motivating, and you can't predict when that's going to happen. What you can track and predict is reaching out to 5 people a day to set up speaking engagements. Did you do that or not? It's very black and white, and if you do that every day, let's say that 5 days a week during the week for a couple months, you have reached out to a certain amount of people. Well, it's either going to start to work or it's not. Or it's going to work somewhat. But then what we can do is we can look at what you're doing. What do those conversations sound like? Who are you reaching out to? What are you saying? Right? We can get concrete and we can dive into the mechanics of it. We can start understanding a little bit better, right? So this is now start to go into some of the realities of the mindset that I want you to start to have this new year, or off a spin off what I'm saying is not for the new year, but every day, every moment is the opportunity, just like a new year, right? At midnight on December 30th or January 31st, January 1st, sorry, it starts something new, right? But so there's a midnight every night, there's a work day. And let's say you have a 5-hour work day in your coaching business. And the first 3 hours you blew because you were on Facebook and reading and doing everything but what you should be doing. Okay, so what? You know what? The next hour comes, you've got a couple hours left. Do something that's productive in your business, right? So that's your new year. It's the new hour. It's the new minute. It's breaking that down. But now what I want to give you is to create real results. And I've been really harping on my mentor coaching clients around this concept, especially this last month, and especially moving forward is, you've got to have a relentless pursuit of promotion. Meaning, and I'm not talking about, oh, hire me as your coach and, let's get me in for a seminar, et cetera. Like, to a certain degree, yes, we've got to be able to ask. But the bulk part of that is we've got to have a relentless pursuit of getting in front of people. And I don't care if this is virtually, I don't care if this is face-to-face or a combination of the both, right? At the end of the day, we've got to get our message out somehow, and there's only so many mediums and how we can get that out. Online, there's a written word, there's an audio with like a podcast or something like that. And then there's video, live broadcast, recorded broadcast like this. And then face-to-face, there's written via email, there's audio via phone, right? And face-to-face like events and things like that. Those are like kind of the comparable mediums on and offline, right? There's no other way of getting our message out there. We've got to put that message in front of people. We've got to be having conversations virtually and face-to-face with people to be finding out the needs that they have, the timing of those needs. That's for potential clients. And then we've also got to find out those needs that they have for potential speaking engagements, workshops, whether they're face-to-face or doing some online workshops or presentations like via Zoom or any local virtual platforms like that, right? So we've got to be able to speak our message in front of people at some point, individually or in groups, so that they can start to understand how we can help them. And as a result of that, create conversations, I call those the sales conversations that might lead to potential clients, right? There's really no other way around that, right? But you've got to have a relentless pursuit of going after that. And I will say this, that is not necessarily easy. Some people enjoy it a lot more than others. Some people, like even myself, I just got from one of my great clients. I talked to someone yesterday as well. It's not easy to get out and network with people and talk to people. Like, I hate it. You might look at me and be like, oh, Jeff, you seem like you speak well and you're fine with people and speaking your message. And it's like, well, I've developed that skill set over time, but like, I'm not a social person. I'm not an extroverted person. Like, I'm introverted. Like, this is not my thing. I've forced myself to make it this thing because I'm passionate about coaching. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about being part of people's successes, whether it be from back in the days when I was a personal trainer in the fitness industry, doing a whole bunch of stuff there, to being a life coach, to now being a mentor coach, and who knows where I'll be in 10 years, right? But I'm passionate about that. And I understood very early on that if I'm going to actually help people, I need to get in front of them and start talking about it. And so, I put aside some of my fears as a person and an individual, and I put first and foremost my passion for coaching and fitness and all that other stuff that got me in front of people. And I had to ask. And that was the big thing is right now is so when I get clients that come back to me over time or over, and things aren't working or they're frustrated, like I can empathize with that. But we've always got to go back to, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? If someone comes back to me and says like, this isn't working, whatever this means, whether it's something that they did on their own, something that we help them set up and structure, Well, let's look at it. That's why I always, when I'm with my clients, when we get to that point, we've got to start tracking some numbers. We got to start looking at like, well, how many new conversations are you having with people where it's got to meet a threshold. It's got to cross a threshold to have a new conversation. And that threshold is that at some point, is there some conversation about your business and what you're looking for, how you can help people, where they understand it a little bit, that can lead to another conversation. To me, that's a new conversation. And then from there, we can go to this, a qualifying conversation where we're learning a little bit more in depth about that person's needs and the timing of those needs, whether it be for clients or for workshops, right? But until we're passing that threshold, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything, right? So if you're just putting out stuff and posting stuff online, here and there randomly, making random connections on LinkedIn and, automation replies. You're getting out there somewhat, right? But you're not relying on that. Like even if I just relied on me doing these live shows and my emails as my exposure to people, like at the end of the day, that's not going to get me anywhere. Like, yes, it's going to give me some exposure, right? But this formula that I've set up, that I set my mentor coaching clients up with when I work with them, that's mainly to stay in front of our existing audience, right? That's to nurture, that's to be in front of them, to be top of mind, to be continually helping them each and every week, so that hopefully if something like, if I'm here because no one's paying me to do this, right? But I'm here and I'm in front of you. So hopefully at some point, if you get frustrated in your business or you don't want to get frustrated, you're like, you know what? Jeff's been helping me all this time. He's been, he seems like he knows what he's doing, right? And so I'm going to reach out to him. The timing's right. And then next thing you know, we're working together, right? That's why you've got to be top of mind. You've got to be in front of those networking people. You've got to be in front of your email database. That's why I want you to get on my email audience. Go to sellingcoaching.com, enter your name and email address. Yes, get the free resource, with it, but get on my email so you can see how I communicate with my audience. You've got to be doing that with yours, right? But the mindset is to get real results, to really bring this back to where I'm going with this is you've got to have a relentless pursuit to get in front of people. And if it's not comfortable for you, how about this? It's not going to be like, it's not for me, even to this day. Like I do a lot of virtual stuff. Like I can do this stuff and I feel good about it. I'm confident about it. But if I had a seminar, or if I was doing a big event, with hundreds of people on it, or even 50 people or 5 people on it, you know what I mean? Like I'd be nervous because that's just how it is, right? But you've got to start doing those things to get past some of that stuff. So you start to build some confidence around it. And I know that's hard starting off because I was there when I started off. I didn't have any evidence that I could speak in front of a group for an hour, or half-day events, 4 or 5 hour events. Like, holy crap, I remember my first one. Like I was in my room, the hotel room the night before, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm just like sweating. And it's so nervous, even though I'm prepared and I think I know what I'm doing. Like it's nerve-wracking. But we've got to start developing our language around how we're asking. We got to start understanding a little bit more about how we can start to help people. And then we just start having those conversations that can lead towards us getting in front of people with events, getting us potential conversations with people around coaching. So the relentless pursuit of that. And so I want you to go back and you've got to look at this on a daily basis and go like, what did I do today? What have I done so far? It's East Coast right now. It's middle of the day, or it's noontime at least, right? So the West Coast are just starting your morning off, right? But at every point in my day, I've got to track and I've got to assess, like, am I being as productive as I can be today? And obviously if I've got clients, I'm there with my client, but any open gaps in my schedule, I've got to look at it and I've got to have, how about this? I'm at my best when I'm constantly monitoring my production during my business day, right? Now, I can have a shorter day. I don't need to work 8 hours in my office. These are some of the philosophies I'm going to start to give you today too, is you don't have to, some of you don't have that luxury because you've got a job, right? You've got a job, you've got kids, you've got, a lot of responsibility. So you're working an 8 hour a day at your job that you probably hate. You're coming home to a bunch of family, right? Kids, whatever, or not, whatever. But the point is like, so your time is short. So especially if you're in that case, or you're in a situation like I'm in, like this is my full-time position, right? But like today on Tuesday, like I'll work from 11 to 3, right? And I'll have this show. I've got a couple of clients in there, but I think I've got like an hour and a half of open time, right? But I can produce, and in that hour and a half of time, I can get so much stuff done, or I can just waste it like that, right? But how I get so much stuff done in a concentrated amount of time is I really have to monitor what's going to happen. So as soon as I'm done with the show, I'm not going to like just, stretch out and go to the bathroom and then make myself some food. Like I've got a shake here ready to go. And like I've got bullet pointed stuff in my calendar for, like, let's call it for the next hour and a half before my 2 o'clock mentor coaching client. And after that, like I've got plans with my girlfriend, so we're going to do stuff and have fun. So I got to get out of the office, right? I've got a hard, solid time. So I really force myself to be productive in that amount of time, but I've got to know what I've got to do, and I've got to know what my important activities are. And my most important activities are the ones that's going to get me more exposure, right? So my first activities are going to be the ones following up with any potential leads, any potential clients that I have. My next activities are my admin stuff, keep maintaining my existing clients. So I've got a bunch of questions or things that I've got to answer, for my existing clients. I've got to look and I've got to find out, okay, my schedule's not booked this week, meaning I've got my stuff filled in and I've got a certain amount of clients, but I want to get more clients in there, right? And so as you get more clients, you've got to start thinking like, all right, well, who else can I get in the schedule? Who haven't I met with in a while? Hey, what's up? Like at the beginning of this week, I checked in with a whole bunch of my clients, because I don't meet with them on a, every week basis, so I got to make sure that they're engaged. I got to make sure, hey, when are we going to get in the schedule? What's going on? We got to keep those people going, right? And if you don't have those people yet, it's like, okay, well, where am I going to start to get those people, right? What networking events can I get to? If you're doing your 8-hour job and then coming back, what's that in that hour and a half after dinner and before bedtime or whatever, you got to get in your office. Like, who am I reaching out to? What am I saying? Like, you've got to have that stuff lined up. Have that relentless pursuit to go after business and start asking. And if you don't know what to do, get help, ask help. That's why I'm here as your mentor coach, right? If you need help, ask me a question, and maybe it escalates to where you actually hire me, or maybe I just answer a question for you. You know what I mean? Or maybe I share a resource with you of mine that kind of gets you started. So it doesn't mean, oh, you have to hire me as your mentor coach, or you have to go out and buy a course or hire somebody. I always recommend working with someone like myself because it makes sense. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at. Like I'm working with someone now. Like I worked with him last night at the end of my day, he's helped me develop different marketing systems and trying new things out and different things that ultimately are going to help you out as I pave into new different areas. Right. So, but you've got to expand yourself and push yourself. And I'll wrap this up with this is like, life's hard. Like, and not like I'm telling you anything that you don't know. Like, life's hard. Life's wonderful, but it's freaking hard, and you can't compare yourself to other people or in either direction, meaning, maybe you've got it harder than somebody else, or et cetera, right? It's all perspective, but life's hard. You know what? Business is hard. It doesn't have to be, but it's hard. It's challenging. It's going to challenge you in so many different ways, So there's this certain, I say pursue this with this resilience, but you've got to have this resilience and you've got to stop telling yourself the stories. You got to kind of slap yourself in the face and get the F up and dust it off and stop being a victim. And because it works, like this stuff works, but you've got to get better, and I'll look you right in the eye and say, right now, you're not good enough. And I'm saying you're not good enough, not because, oh, you're not good enough, that belief, right? We all have that belief and we're not good enough. When I'm saying you're not good enough is what I mean by that is like, you've got to get better at your skill sets, right? You're not good enough at the selling skill set. You're not good enough at the coaching skill set. You're not good enough at the email skill set or the video skill set or the speaking skill set or any of the skill sets required in our business, right? And the second you think you're good enough, you failed. Right? Like, I don't think I'm good enough either, right? Because I'm working on that craft. Why do you think I do these videos every week? You know what? We've got a handful of people on right now, but I don't care if someone shows up or not, someone watches or not. I'm going to do this each and every week because I got to work on my craft. I got to get in here. I got to put on this collared shirt or whatever. I got to get my lights all set up and I've got to think of a topic and it forces me to get myself out there and speak for X amount of time on something. And maybe I end this and I go, wow, that went well. Or wow, like I couldn't get my words together today. But you know what? The reason I can do this consistently and I feel better and better at it, and maybe I can get my words together more consistently and I can have a powerful message and I can show my personality, I can be wild and crazy or whatever, is because I've been doing this every week for 15 years or multiple times a week for 15 years. That's the reality of it, right? I've written weekly emails for the past 15 years. Like, after then, you should be better at that, right? But right now, you're not good enough, right? And just accept it. We don't want to just, I'm not good enough and cry. Like, just accept the fact. Like, sometimes we suck, like my son was playing a new game the other day with his friends, and one of his friends was like I suck at this, and his dad was there, and his dad like, oh no, you don't suck. And I didn't say anything, but I'm like, you know what? he does suck. It's okay. Because if you don't acknowledge that you suck at something, and if you want to get better at it, then you're never going to get better at it. Don't make him feel better. If he sucks at something, like, yeah, you know what? But you know what? It's not a bad thing. Just work at it, right? So if you say, oh, I suck at videos, or I can't do a seminar, or I suck at writing emails, like, okay, you suck. Write another email, right? And that one, maybe it just sucks just a little less. And then the next video you do sucks a little less. That's how it works. So go after it. I'm here to help. If you're open to a conversation with me of how I can help you, if you were to hire me as your mentor coach, work you through, set some structure up, take a lot of the thinking out and allow you to kind of do the work that you need to do, consider working with me as your mentor coach. And if that's something that you're interested or open to having a conversation about, go to my website, sellingcoaching.com, fill out the form at the bottom of the Work With Me page. I will reach out to you directly and we can create a relaxed conversation and decide to go from there.